Hey everybody, Thacia here with Legacy of Light in conjunction with One Love Wellness Center here in Menasha, Wisconsin. Coming to you for one of my 365 days from my heart to yours. And today I'm going to be doing the Fourth Noble Truth from the Buddhist tradition and the book, Remember, Be Here Now. So the Fourth Noble Truth is the Eightfold Path. It's for getting rid of desire. So there's thought, speech, action, livelihood, exertion, remembrance, and meditation and belief. So the Eightfold Path, which says, get your life straight, do your work, do everything you've got to do. Watch your speech, watch your thought, watch your calmness. Get your calm center going. Live your life in such a way as to get yourself straight, to get free of attachment that just keeps sucking you in all the time. Get free of desire. Get free of desire. It's a little like a roller coaster. This is just the way it works. If you read St. John of the Cross, Dark Night of the Soul, you know how it is. You've really been working on yourself, and you're very pure, and something very high happens to you, and you feel liberated. And then your ego walks around and pats you on the shoulder. Pretty good. Look how holy you're becoming, and you fall again. That's one of the traps. In fact, the higher you get, the harder you fall. Each time, it's those fierce lions guarding the inner gates. All this stuff happens. You are extricating yourself from the web of your desire, which is your ego, which is your cognitive framework of the universe. It's all the same thing. And this extrication, believe me, doesn't happen without an internal struggle. This is called tapas, or tapasia, straightening by the fire. If a man gives way to all of his desires, or panders to them, there will no inner struggle in him. There's no friction, no fire. But if for the sake of attaining a definite aim, he struggles with the desires that hinder him, he will then create a fire from which will gradually transform his inner world into a single whole. And that's from Ouspensky, In Search of the Miraculous. So if we just give in to everything, give in to all our desires, give ourselves all these things that we think we desire, there is no friction, and it doesn't cause us to want to look inside and to actually grow. Because as I've said in many other videos, everything in our lives is for our positive growth. So this friction is for our positive growth. These things that we think are negative are for our positive growth. And without these things that are causing us friction, we won't have the positive growth. We won't have this fire ignited within us. You know, it's just like starting a fire, you know, the old way. There has to be friction for it to start, for it to light. And so is the same with what is, happening around us, what's happening in our environment, how are we viewing our existence? And for those that want growth, then there's going to be some periods of friction, some periods where, you feel like you've fallen, you feel like you've failed, you feel like your train has been derailed. But as I've explained before, it's not derailed. It's just something is blocking it. And the blocking can also be, akin to our attachments, our desires are actually blocking our train from continuing on that track. So maybe we're in the mountains, we've got up, and then we're like, oh, the ego comes in and tells us something. Like either, oh, you're getting really holy, or you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be free from that. And instead of seeing that it is just something blocking the train, whether it be, like there was a big snowstorm, or, anything, there was a rock fell down and it just needs to be moved off the tracks. The tracks just need to be cleared. And to clear the tracks would be to let go of these attachments, let go of the desires, and try, or not try, but live the Eightfold Path, where we are aware of our thoughts, where we are aware of our speech, where we are aware of our actions and our livelihoods and our exertion and our remembrance. And we're aware of our beliefs. And we spend time in meditation in whatever form that is to you. To me, meditation is a lot of things. And it's not always just sitting in a spot and closing my eyes, or laying on my bed and closing my eyes. Sometimes meditation is a walk. Sometimes meditation is just being out in nature, or being by water, because those things recharge me and bring me closer to who I really am. This part of me that's experienced this earth existence here. So even though we stumble, even though we fall, this is causing us friction to create our growth, to light this fire within each and every one of us. And it's not a derailment, and it's not made to make us suffer. Because when we let go of our attachments, we no longer have to suffer. Because we're not attached to that emotion that is causing us suffering. We're not attached to the situation that is causing the suffering. We've let that go and realized this is just what it is. This is how it's happening. And acceptance of the friction, love of the friction. I accept this friction. I love this friction because this is showing me some places within me that still wanted to be attached to the situation. to my desires, to my suffering. Thank you for showing me the places that I can let go of this attachment to. And I don't have to suffer. And I can love this moment of friction and accept it and love it for what it is. And as always, we can remember that this is impermanent. Our souls, our higher self, or whatever you want to call that, is infinite. But this here, this dream, this life, the whatever you want to call it, is impermanent. It is always and ever changing. Do you want to thrive or just survive? I want to match my thriving vibration, the vibration in which I am no longer attached to the suffering, to the pain, to it all. I choose. And the more you practice these things, you know, the Four Noble Truths, the more you practice anything in your life, the easier it will become. Two years ago, I would have stayed in my last two relationships for many reasons. But now I realize that I get to choose. And and it took practice of trusting myself and trusting my heart and letting go of the attachments to my addictions, to being a caretaker, to the rest of my addictions, to you know, caring for everyone else before myself, and decided that it was me first. And in putting me first is now allowing me to see from a whole different perspective. But it has taken some practice. It didn't just happen overnight like I wanted it to. I've gone through a lot of friction. But it's been a beautiful process. These, you know, desires and things, and it is still ever changing. But now, if I find that the space I'm in, I don't want to be that space, I move. And it doesn't matter what. Like, I don't listen to my fears. I acknowledge them. I look them in the face and I name them. I call them out. But I'm not hanging on to them. I'm not attached to them. And that is not going to stop me from moving out of a space I don't want to be in. Because I'm no longer attached to these, this is the only outcome. I know there's infinite freaking possibilities. And I don't want to limit myself anymore to, you know, making up these scenarios that, you know, 99% of the time aren't even necessary, that they don't happen. It's just these little, you know, stories your monkey mind likes to tell you, and we like to believe it. Because, you know, as I said before, our ego, our monkey mind is like, all of this has been created to, you know, protect us, so to speak. They're just parts of us that have wanted to protect us and to keep us safe, and, you know, in some strange way they have, but you're moving out of that space. You're moving from that. Those things no longer serve you. So you can let go of your attachments to those fears. And just be you, because the universe adores you and loves you just for you. Not because of anything. Anything, just because you are. So I encourage you to look into the Four Noble Truths more if you are interested in more information, and practice them. You don't have to be a Buddhist. You don't have to become a Buddhist. To reap the benefits of these practices, the Four Noble Truths. You can see correlations between this and other religions and some Toltec wisdom, you know. And things that Jesus talked about, and Muhammad, and many other masters. And really, in the end, they didn't come so that we would hang on their every word and follow all these strict rules, and they came to share messages that we all have the same divine birthright as them. And you know, the first Buddha, or Buddha Sakyamuni, his message was not that he was the guru or he was something special. His message is that you can be me. We all can be the Buddha. We all can be Jesus. We all can be Kuan Yin. We all can be the Dalai Lama. We all can be. All of these aspects of the masters we can integrate into us because they are part of us. We just have to remember and realize it and accept it and be willing to deal with the friction, to realize what this life is, and to realize that we each have the opportunity to be like the great masters and to integrate their attributes into us. So to glean information from all these religions doesn't mean that we have to, you know, adhere to all the rules and regulations which have been created within these systems, and that's okay. Maybe some people enjoy that, but we don't need to. You can take the aspects that resonate with your heart from anything. So I encourage you all to do that and to, you know, as I said, practice the Four Noble Truths and look into it more if you're interested for some more knowledge. Okay. Sometimes I get going off. So, I love you all, and I will see you another time.